Hello, property nomads. Hope you're doing well. Yes, it's December. Yes, it's the festive season, and it's that time of year where things start to die down a little bit. But in Mark's case, definitely not. We're joined today by Marc Champ of Wharf Financial. Mark, how you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. As always, a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely, likewise. We'll be releasing a podcast in a couple of weeks with our a recap of our 2023 predictions. But for now, let's look at what's been going on recently. There's not really any news articles to me that stand out. The usual stuff, shall we say? People looking at house prices, maybe going down, maybe starting to U-turn. But you've just said off there that you've been incredibly busy the last couple of weeks, which is quite rare for this time of year.
Yeah, usually we get a rush in maybe November where people want to get the deals in before Christmas, but September, October, November were really quiet. And I think because people were worried about where interest rates were and where they were going, and when they would come down, it was a difficult time for people. Stress tests were harder to meet, and with the rates high, they thought, well, you we can't actually to buy an investment property or buy a property that they want to convert or to develop or whatever it may be. So people sat on their hands for a bit. But what we've seen in the last week and a half is as rates have come down a little bit, so they've eased off around 0.5 to 0.75%, the investors have come back out to play, and we've seen quite a lot of new things. So people buying terrace houses, wanting to convert them into HMOs, people buying houses, wanting to turn them into flats, small parcels of land that they want to develop. And I was saying to somebody yesterday, I think we've had more inquiries in the last 2 weeks than we have in the previous 2 months. So it's been really encouraging, and hopefully we'll be able to deliver for those customers.
Fingers crossed. And I know there's some changes coming up to permitted development rights where, again, you can convert a house into two dwellings effectively. And that's a massive play that I think a lot of people will take advantage of. Just from a lending point of view, how have you, obviously you work with a multitude of lenders. How have they been like recently? Obviously, some lenders are starting to drop their rates a little bit, but the more specialised lenders, what are they up to at the moment?
What are they up to? So they want to do deals. They're coming to us asking us for deals, and there's all of them. You speak to them, they say, "Oh, we're really busy, really busy," but I don't think they are as busy as they make out.
Hmm.
And I think if they are busy, it's with predominantly with cases that can't continue. So I know back in when I was at Shawbrook, the actual rate of conversion from an AIP, so an application in principle, to completion was around 35%. So you get 65% drop off of whatever comes in. At this time where stress tests need to be made, portfolio stress tests need to be made, it's a lot more difficult. So I reckon that figure has actually gone down, and the AIP to completion rate will be a lot lower than it has been. It means people have to be busy in lenders. They have to assess the deals and they have to do the legwork to see if it's a deal they want to be doing. But then they don't necessarily get the conversion at the end. So if I would say that banks and lenders are probably busy, but they aren't as productive as they maybe were a couple of years ago. It is a lot harder. Rates have come down across the board. We've seen one lender who's they've brought in a new product and a new way of doing things, and I can't say anything about it because we're on a pilot, but we're using it, and it's been very, very good, excellent, in fact. So it's on the buy to let front. and it's worked brilliantly for our customers. We've saved our customers a lot of money and time, and hopefully when it comes off the pilot and I can tell everybody about it, they'll be able to use this product as well.
Well, let's hear Mark that, because that'd be a really good thing to go over. So once that comes off the pilot, let me know, and we'll get a podcast out about that. A common question, Mark, that we get, and you probably get from being a business owner and in the property sphere, is what do I do in December? And I normally say plan for next year, because this time of year, normally speaking, is a bit quieter, just like August. Normally it's a bit quieter. And people sort of sat around twiddling their thumbs. From being a business owner yourself, do you start doing all your preparation for next year in December, or is it a case of a lot of networking? What does December look like for you?
So I remember Daley Thompson, the old decathlete. Can you remember him back in the 80s? He always said, I train on Christmas Day because nobody else does. And he gets an advantage on everybody else. So for me, December is about working harder than everybody else. Let everybody else go out to the parties and get drunk and do all that sort of stuff. I say, double down, don't get drunk, do extra work, make sure that you've got everything planned for next year, like you said, but ensure that you are working harder than everybody else. And that goes, for me, the whole way through the year. But in December, you've got an advantage, and I have an advantage because I don't drink. I think it's just a way to get in front of everybody else in December, because everybody else will be out partying.
No, good. I'm glad that was a response, because we would normally say the same thing. Get yourself planned for next year. Obviously, you've got your visions, wise, values, etc. But yeah, use that December to switch on when everyone else is switched off, basically. So that's good to know. As I said at the start, I've got no other articles that have caught my attention since we last spoke. Is there anything your end that you think, hang on a minute, we need to share this on this episode?
The only thing I think I need to talk about is inflation. And I know people are bored of inflation, but inflation appears to be coming down, and rates have been coming down a little bit. But I think inflation is under control, and we're going to actually say inflation has been conquered for now. So where interest rates go, I don't think they're going to be dropping off dramatically like other people suggest. So maybe June time next year, we'll start to be aware of that if they're holding out for it, it's not necessarily going to come in the next 6 months. I think inflation is still high, so it does need to interest rates do need to remain where they're at. So but there's a lot of opportunities out there for buying properties. We are seeing people in distress and opportunities coming around. So I think it could be a really good time to start looking for properties and taking advantage of the little blip that we've had.
That makes perfect sense. And we've always said I'm pretty sure every single podcast we've ever done, we've always said the same thing. There's always opportunity. Keep your eyes open, keep looking, keep talking to people, keep using your power team, people like yourself, Mark, keep talking, keep that networking going, and stuff will, we find that stuff sometimes just drops on you when you least expect it, but it's all that hard work you've put in beforehand to get you to that point where it happens. So keep looking and keep the opportunities open, basically.
Yeah, the harder you work, the luckier you'll be, and the more situations you put yourself in, the more opportunities that will arise. So it's just about doing the right things consistently, and they will come off if you work hard.
Yep, 100%. I totally agree. Well, I think that wraps it up. As I said, we will be back in a couple of weeks with a 2023 recap, so you can see how well we've done or not how well we've done. And then we'll also we'll fire out an episode in January, I think, for some 2024 predictions. But all I would say on that is, from behalf, certainly on behalf of myself, Mark, everyone at Property Nomads and Wharf Financial, say a thank you for listening, and also a very happy Christmas, and have a good new year. But we'll come back to you in a couple of weeks, and you can see how well we haven't done with our 2023 predictions.
Yes, excellent. Merry Christmas, everybody.